turn my mic up. Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday on today's show. I know it's a little loud. There we go. Got that turned down. How's everybody doing this morning? I am so frazzled today. First day back at work, and it was a long morning. Holy shit! And I just didn't have time to really look at news and get prepared. So, although there's a bunch of news stories out there that I've seen and thought about, I just haven't really opened up any stories and whatnot. So today's a viewer's choice day. I do have a few things I'm going to start talking about because they're up front and center. But I'm going to let you decide if we're going to go in a different direction or whatever. I'm going to try to pay attention to the chat a lot more closely today. And we'll see how it goes. Because, I should be doing that anyway. So that's what's going to happen today on the show. I'm glad you're here. Hopefully more people will show up. But the people who are here are ready. And so am I. Johnny, play the intro, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, Dawg Knight.
Marty Moose. That's me. Stop the music. Hey, what's going on here? Stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. Welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel, where we think about space and time and things that we throw up in the air. So that's a hint to something Gunfox has been talking to me about in the chat. I saw that, Gunfox, and it's up on the list because you know what? It's Viewer's Choice Day, and since you put that up there, we'll get to that first. But first, before that, I just want to wish you a happy morning. Did I say the whole spiel? I'm Marty. It's at the Morning Night. My name is Dawg Knight, whatever, also known as Marty or whatever, on the internet. And welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel. It's Tuesday, the 23rd of August, 2022. And I realized, I think Lady Boomer and I leave in 3 weeks for our excursion in Europe, which I've never really spent time in Europe. I had a layover in Amsterdam once, but I've never spent any time in Europe before. I don't know if I even told you about this trip. We're going to take a river cruise up the Danube. A friend of ours didn't want to travel alone and offered to take us with her. So we said, "Oh, well, hell, that's very generous. We're going to go. What the hell? Got to do it." So anyway, we're in. I think it's 3 weeks from today. I think we leave on Tuesday. We're going to fly to Budapest, Hungary. We're going to get on one of those Viking cruise riverboats, and we're going to sail on a riverboat for 8 days. Well, 8 days, something like that. We're going to go through basically the border of Austria and Czech Republic, I guess it's called now, and on the way to Regensburg, Germany, and then a couple stops in Vienna. We're going to go see Mozart's apartment where he composed music, and also Lady Boomer and I are going to take waltz lessons while we're in Vienna too. So that'll be cool. But we're going to have several stops and get to see some cool stuff. And I haven't figured out how I'm going to do the show from there. I'm going to do some streaming or whatever. I'll be taking a lot of video and photos and stuff. So, we'll figure it out. So anyway, today I'm kind of winging it. I have a few topics up here, and I'll give you an opportunity to, if you want to bring up some stuff, from the chat, and I'll look it up if I don't have it at hand. And no, it's not a Chicago Bears C in the logo. That's the TC for Twin Cities. It's not a Bears logo. It's just the Bears stole it. I don't know. Anyway, so let's say good morning to everybody, and then we'll move on. Wow, I am I'm very colorful today. I just noticed that. I'm like, it's the saturation of the colors really popping there. Wow. Plus, I've seen, if you see, I've been getting a lot of sun. Since I've been sick, I haven't really left my house. This is, in fact, today, actually, last night is the first day I left my house since last Wednesday. And, but I've been spending a lot of time on my back patio, just sitting in the sun, trying to soak in the love from the goddess of light, known as our sun. I don't know if our sun has a name. Probably does. I don't know it. But anyway, hoping to get some natural vitamin D to help rid me of the unky pox, as we've been calling it from Hotep Nation, because a few people from that conference got COVID. Not the whole group, though. Just 3 people all seem to have COVID at the same time. But there's a bunch of people there that could have gotten it. But anyway, so yeah, I am feeling much better. Although now we think Lady Boomer's tested positive. And my daughter, my son-in-law, and grandbaby have COVID. At least, so now Lady Boomer's gonna have to quarantine. I don't know if I need to anymore. I don't think I have to, because I'm basically at the end of it. But now they have it, but they're seem to be doing fine. I actually, when I said I left the house finally last night, is I got a bunch of food and just dropped it over at their house so they wouldn't have to leave the house and find stuff to cook and whatnot, because that's just kind of what we do. We went to the store, or I went to the store, whatever, and got them a bunch of food and stuff that they didn't have to spend a lot of time preparing. And hopefully they'll be fine soon too. It's just concerning, the poor little baby's, running a slight fever and is miserable and crying all the time, and they're both coughing, and it's just unfortunate. So, but since I'm the at the tail end of it, I was the designated drop the food offer person. So anyway, let's say good morning, everybody. First in the chat today, Somnambul Nation, who gets the bell. If it works, there we go. It's looking good. Also, good morning to Advocatus Diablo, Devil's Advocate, Rotten Corpses in the house, Gunfox61, the fabulous administrator of our Discord server. Asana's here. Good morning, Mike Savage, Blarg, Cigar Chomping Penguin. Nice to have you. Yes, holy same thing that I said. He said, holy shit, I'm actually making a live show. I was thinking the same thing. Welcome back. Also, good morning to Rachel Madhouse Dildo. Every time. Also, good morning, Keenan, Simon Wolfwood, Tyrannus Alexandrius Invictus Soul, aka Tyre Alexander. Good morning, also to Select a Boy. Yeah, boy. Also, Tyler F's in the house. Good morning, also to Renee Mayette. Man Squatch is here. Is that everybody? Is that scroll all the way? That's pretty light scrolling. Okay, well, there says there's 20-some people here, so that's good. Yes, I am. Well, no, I'm not a super spreader. Then I would have monkeypox. Okay, thank you very much. It took you a while to figure that one out. Okay, so one thing that and I kind of realized it when I went to HotepCon, but by the way, if people had questions about HotepCon, I'm actually going to do a recap at HotepCon, and I know people are like, "Oh, what does Hotep mean?" I'm not going to go into that right now, other than it means the piece and the movement itself is a movement of people making the best of themselves and having individual responsibilities to help make the people around you better. That's my simple explanation of it, but there's more to it. But oh shit, what was my point? Oh, one thing I realized when I went to HotepCon, and a couple of people have said it since, is that they think that I am a giant human being. And I'm like, well, I guess I am. I mean, I probably was the tallest person there. And I'm a large human being. I mean, look, I'm 6'4" and I'm almost 300 pounds, but even at and that's because I'm overweight. But for me, I mean, 3 pounds just makes me look chubby, but when even at my lightest, I'm 240, I look skinny. So, but I realized, yeah, I guess I was the tallest person there, and everyone keeps commenting on how big of a giant I was, and I'm like, I'm not a giant. There's a lot of people bigger than me, at least where I live. I mean, Minnesota, there are a lot of tall Minnesotans. But anyway, I don't know why it made me think that. Anyway, good morning. Couple things that are popping in the news. Well, first, let's go to what Gunfox was going to talk about, because this is pretty cool, and apparently this launch is happening today. In fact, Gunfox, if you happen to have a link of where... Wait, what? I'm amazed you didn't know the name of the sun. You were there when it was formed. You know, Tyre, I was this close just to timing you out for the hell of it. Yada. Anyway, so Advocatus Diaboli is put, it's on Monday. Okay, well, anyway, this is still, this coming Monday. Why did you say, earlier you said something, you said breaking news, Kennedy Space Center, Florida, second attempt for Artemis 1 set to lift off. On Monday morning, crowds expect to reach over 1 million people for the launch. Well, here's what he's talking about. I've got it on the screen here. Wait, let me fix this so I can see it. So you can see it, I should say. Okay, there we go. Booster 7 prepares for additional static fires as future plans evolve. Anyway, here it is. Following 2 single-engine static fire tests on the orbital launch mount, or Booster 7, is back inside the Mega Bay for further engine installation and preparation for a continued static fire test later this month. The vehicle is likely to roll, but awaits preparation work at the launch site for its next testing phase. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, help me understand what this is that I'm talking about, Gunfox, because I'm not 100% sure what this means. Let's see. Starship continues to press towards an orbital launch attempt, possibly this year, while SpaceX is already deep into the future planning with its vehicles and launch sites, such as at the Kennedy Space Center 39A. Starship also won a launch contract with Superbird 9 assigned to a 2024 launch. So tell me, that's another news story. Okay, let me go. All right, here's what I do. This is, by the way, it's a viewer's choice day. So if you have something you want me to talk about, I am going to look it up. But let me go back here. Okay, so Artemis 1. Let's look up Artemis 1. Copy, and we'll paste it into DuckDuckGo. And let's see. Here we go. Here it is. Wait, what? Flight readiness review. NASA's moon rocket. Okay, we'll do the New York Post story. NASA's moon rocket, Artemis 1, to go for a launch after final review. NASA managers have given the Space Launch System moon rocket the green light to move ahead with launching for the first time from Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Artemis program management met Monday at KSC for the flight readiness review to go over every element of the SLS and unscrewed Orion spacecraft mission known as Artemis 1. After a full day, no one objected to moving forward with the first launch of the massive 322-foot tall rocket. Artemis 1 launch director Charlie Blackwell Thompson says, the launch called to stations happens Saturday. SLS could launch within a 2-hour window that opens at 8:33 a.m. Eastern Time on Monday, August 29th. We're go for a launch, which is absolutely outstanding. This day has been a long time coming, NASA Associate Administrator Robert Cabana said. Now, let me just say, I'm a little bit, so first crew test flight to the moon since Apollo. Okay, that's what they're doing. So this bad boy's going to go to the moon, or at least around the moon. Is that what's going on here? Maybe I'm just confused. The Irish government banning advertising of Irish cut turf on all media types starting November 1st. What's Irish cut turf? Okay, we're going to come back to that. So, Cabana, a former astronaut and longtime NASA Kennedy Space Center director, said he was inspired by watching the Apollo 13 launch in 1970. I'm proud. I'm a product of the Apollo generation. Look for what it did for us, he said. I cannot wait to see what comes from the Artemis generation because I think it's going to inspire even more than Apollo did. NASA leaders stressed that Artemis 1 is the first full test of SLS and the Orion from the launch to landing, and risk is associated with it. The launch will mark the first time since 1967 that NASA will conduct a test flight of a moon rocket. The Orion capsule was designed for a 21-day mission. However, NASA plans to extend that to a 42-day space flight. We are pushing the vehicle to its limits, really stressing to get ready for crew. It is incredibly risky, NASA Associate Administrator for Exploration Systems Development Jim Freeze said. We talked about our mitigation steps for those risks, and we've mitigated the risk as far as we can. And now it's time to get to launch so we can get that data that we need to put a crew in it. So I guess they're gonna send this thing on its own. Is that right? Is that correct? Hello, Retro Veteran Gamer, by the way. Okay, that's interesting. So let's see. So Artemis is the rocket. Orion is the capsule, apparently. And Orion will spend 2 weeks in orbit before beginning the journey back to Earth. Last part of the test flight includes one of the main objectives for Artemis 1, which is testing the Orion heat shield as the spacecraft re-enters Earth atmosphere at 25,000 miles per hour. Wow. Artemis 1 accumulates with the Orion splashing down into the Pacific, not specific. Well, it should be the Pacific Ocean, but the Pacific Ocean is probably a good idea, especially when you're going 25,000 miles an hour. On October 10th, however, NASA managers said the mission could be shorter depending on how things go. A successful mission will set the stage for Artemis 2, an astronaut mission to orbit the moon. By 2025, NASA plans to land 4 astronauts on the lunar South Pole, becoming the first moonwalkers since Apollo 17 in 1972. So we're prepping to go back to the moon. Wow, isn't that special? So thank you, Gun Fox, for bringing that up. Marty, I got that. It's another news story. Let's see. It's turf that's harvested here, often by small landholders. It's not processed other than cutting from the bogs. Briquettes are milled turf, which is pressed into small blocks. So what do they do with it? What do they do? Okay, I know I'm changing subjects. So Irish cut turf? What do they do with Irish cut turf? Oh, yes, 'tis a fuel like split log, etc. The German stuff is no cleaner or dirtier. Okay. And so is that something that they use a lot in Ireland? Like for fuels? Like for heating fuel? Or what do they use it for, Mike? I'm just curious. Is Dawg Knight's sound a bit low, or is it my laptop? I could be either one. Well, people say I sound okay, so I'm not 100% sure. All right, so I'm gonna leave that article open. Then there's the other article that was not the correct article. That's the Booster 7 prepares for static fires. That was in the Discord. By the way, if you're ever looking for news that may or may not make your head explode, check out our Discord server. It's definitely I went through a bunch of those yesterday, and then the new one this morning. So anyway, so they're just fucking with the Irish. I don't know. On the moon, we can collect helium-3, which is great for fusion reactors, which we don't have many of. We can also set up radio telescopes up there. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what this new moon exploration thing yields. It's going to be interesting. All right, let's get into the few things that I had on my list of things that were just trending. We'll go through those, and if you have any particular things you want to talk about, I'm certainly open to that today. A couple things trending, though. One, Kobe. is trending. Kobe Bryant, the great basketball player for the Lakers for so many years. It would have been his 37th birthday. I don't know. It's Kobe Bryant's birthday. People are remembering Kobe Bryant. And there's a lot of people who, he would have been 44. Holy shit. He would have been 44 today. 5 minutes of Kobe game winners. Oh, this is good. This is from, so they have 5 straight minutes of Kobe game winners. Not surprising because he made a lot of game winners in his day. That one was amazing. Holy shit. Did you see that? I should actually back that up. And there you go. That's a Kobe game winner. Anyway, if you want to see those, you can go on this. I'll leave this this trending link too. Royal Air Force recruiter quits over woke agenda. Oh, goodness gracious. Here, you should have invested in a better pot. Damn, AD, that's cold, man. Apparently his nickname was Bean. I didn't know that. Probably because his Bean head. No, he was a great basketball player. Now he had his issues. He had that one his foible that made him. He had to go buy his wife a 25 karat diamond because he had an escapade once in Denver, and possibly an offspring from it or something. But but you know, the wife got a big old diamond out of it. Oh no, he got accused of forced extracurricular activity and only got out of it because there was some proof that it wasn't necessarily forced extracurricular activity. But anyway, he ended up having to pay off the wife with a big old diamond. All right. Another thing trending today. This next one kind of warmed my heart a little bit. Hello, Nomad.
Hammer time.
Nice to see you here. Gene Kelly is trending today. Remember, do you know who Gene Kelly is? Gene Kelly is a dancer, choreographer, actor in many films, famous mostly for Singing in the Rain. If you know that song, that's because Gene Kelly made it famous. 1912, dancer and choreographer Gene Kelly was born. He shares a birthday with Kobe Bryant. Let's see. Happy heavenly birthday to the multi-talented Gene Kelly. His passion for dance and film radiated the works he left behind. The charm he exuded was one of a kind, instantly mesmerizing in all aspects. He was one of the best ever to do it. Now, if you don't know who Gene Kelly is, I would strongly suggest you go and find a Gene Kelly movie. Singing in the Rain is a good one. There's a bunch of them. I can't think of it. I'm breaking my brain. American in Paris, that's a good one. On the Town. But he just, it's funny. He's one of those actors where they're pretty much all old black and white films, right? He is one of those actors, when you see him on film, for whatever reason, and even every role I've seen him in a film, he always made you happy. I don't know why. He just exuded happiness. He had this thing, and Anchors Away, that was great. Yep, Gene Kelly and the mouse was really good. Dancing with the cartoon mouse. But he was just a great dancer and just a delightful human being. Even though he was, God, when I was a kid, he was still alive, but just pretty amazing talent. Singer, dancer, actor. And if you've never heard of him, well, look him up. Very interesting guy. Or just in fact, I think they have the clip of Singing in the Rain here. In fact, here it is. This is Gene Kelly from 1952, the movie Singing in the Rain. Here's just a short clip. I don't even know if this is one of those things that I can get dinged for, but I don't care. Oh, volume. If you like musicals too, because not all of it, he didn't always do musicals, but most of them were. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to play this. If you want to see it, you got to look for it yourself. But if you ever heard the song, I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain, that's Gene Kelly. All right, let's move on because I want to keep this going today. Someone else who's trending today in the news, of course, is the terror gnome, Dr. Anthony Fauci. You've probably already heard this, and I'm sure everyone's in mourning today because Dr. Anthony Fauci has said he will step down as director of the National Institute of something infectious diseases and chief medical advisor to President Biden in December. He's going to step down. Oh no! Woe is me. This guy. I cannot stand. Fauci will leave his position as director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases and chief medical advisor to President Joe Biden at the end of the year. He announced that Monday, while I'm moving on from my current position, I'm not retiring, as Fauci said in a statement. After more than 50 years of government service, I plan to pursue the next phase of my career while I still have much energy and passion for my field. I think he's trying to get away from government service so he can't be investigated, but I think he's still going to be investigated. Fauci, 81, did not specify what his next phase would include. He's 81 fucking years old and he's a multi-millionaire because he's made lots of kickbacks from pharmaceuticals and shit. And everyone, all these guys, we learned in one of those hearings that a lot of these people who are supposed to be watchdogging some of the companies that they make approvals of and shit, well, they seem to also get money from some of these companies. I just don't get it. It's like, hopefully someone's going to have a really long hearing that'll explain how these bribes work for these people. But Dr. Anthony Fauci has certainly gotten his share of, I'm talking hypothetically and speculatively that he may have gotten a few dollars from some of these companies that he supposedly oversees and helps win approvals for. So I'm in the FTG. Yes, FTG Fauci, you're correct, Somnambull Nation. Plus, he fucked up the AIDS epidemic, and many would say he fucked up the COVID epidemic. And with his constant shiftiness of information and changing rules and strategies, may have been responsible for the death of millions of people. But I just saying, and that gain of function research, he helped fund gain of function. Well, in theory, he helped fund gain of function research indirectly via certain research grants through companies in the United States that funded the research grants in China, which is illegal. But, we just don't know because we don't have any confirmation from Dr. Fauci, and he really doesn't like to answer questions when Rand Paul asks him questions. But anyway, FTG, that fucking gremlin fraud. Yes. Anyway, so he's apparently, okay, let me go back to this article though. I want to use what I've learned as the NIAID director to continue advanced science and public health and to inspire and mentor the next generation of scientific leaders as they help prepare the world to face future infectious disease and threats. Fauci began his career at NIAID in 1968. Do you understand? Since 1968, he's been with the National Institute of something and infectious diseases, blah, blah, blah. And has directed it. He's been the director since 1984. That's almost 40 years he's been the director of this. And remember, this guy, so Dr. Anthony Fauci, right? Doctor, medical doctor, right? He went to the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases right out of middle school. He's never been a practicing doctor. Now he's done research and whatnot, but I'm just sorry. He's been a bureaucrat all his life, but now he's it's like he has a net worth of like $10 million. Become rich being a government employee. Makes more than the president. Not just in salary, but also in kickbacks from certain medical companies. But anyway, now this is NBC, so you know they can't get through an article about Dr. Anthony Fauci without mentioning Donald Trump. Listen to this bullshit. This is an article about Anthony Fauci stepping down, right? So I'm going to read you the paragraph here, then I'm going to read you this paragraph. Fauci began his career as NIAID in 1968, has directed the institute since 1984. He continued in that role in the administration of President Donald Trump, but he seemed to endure the era with gritted teeth. Trump's response to the pandemic during his presidency included spreading misinformation about the coronavirus and trying to downplay its effects. Really? Fauci found himself having to assert that influenza isn't as deadly as COVID-19 and that the pandemic's death toll in the U.S. had not been exaggerated. What? Okay, hang on a minute. Do I still have a COVID-19 tab? I do have a COVID-19 tab. Now, remember, listen to this, because the sentence is, Trump's response to the pandemic during his presidency included spreading misinformation about the coronavirus and trying to downplay its effects. Oh, yes. Let me find something here. Let me just find something. Oh, as to Dr. Fauci. Here's an article. Dr. Fauci says, Dr. Fauci said Trump took coronavirus seriously from the beginning. Dr. Anthony Fauci said in an interview released Thursday. This is from April 2nd, 2020. Dr. Fauci said in an interview released Thursday, President Donald Trump took coronavirus threat seriously from the beginning of the pandemic. I think he always understood the seriousness of it. Right now, as the numbers are becoming crystal clear, he himself is articulating an awareness of that seriousness, Fauci said in an interview with The Daily, a New York Times podcast. Let's try another one. Now, let's talk about downplaying. They said downplayed. Let's see here. Where's that one? Where's that Fauci one? Oh no, maybe I didn't keep these. Anyway, do you remember when Dr. Anthony Fauci said it was silly that all these people were wearing masks? Remember that? Remember that line? He said it was silly that all these people are wearing masks. You just don't need a mask, right? Remember that? And then later he said, oh, well, the reason we said that we know people don't need masks is we wanted to make sure we had enough for healthcare professionals. Oh, did you lie about the masks, or are they effective? When do you ever decide? When do we ever decide about that? Did we ever actually come up with a coherent policy that was like only N95s work or something like that? Why would they put that in that article? Well, because it's Donald Trump and it's NBC. They hate Donald Trump. Days before the election in 2020, Trump suggested he would consider firing Fauci if he were reelected. One of the former president's qualms, he said, was that Fauci turned out to be wrong about the facets of stupid 19. Yup. As the pandemic evolved in the U.S., so did scientists' knowledge of the new virus. Researchers learned, contrary to their initial belief, that contracting the virus from doorknobs and surfaces was unlikely. Fauci's advice followed the latest science, but Trump saw that as a display of errors, a criticism that could describe the president's own pandemic expertise. You know where he got his expertise from? Dr. Anthony Fauci. Who did he get his advice from? Fauci speaking Monday night on the Rachel Maddow show. Oh, gee, I'm sure that was, well, let's just say Fauci's taint is probably very clean right now. Maybe not by Rachel herself, because, she don't do that, but somebody on her show did it for her. Speaking of Monday night on Rachel Maddow show, suggested that the culture of doubt sown by Trump has affected American health as conspiracy theories thrive, and even as the post-war scourge of polio beaten back for 7 decades by vaccines has reemerged in New York State. Oh, so she's blaming polio on Donald Trump. What we're dealing with now is just a distortion of reality, he said. A world where untruths have almost become normalized. I mean, that's the environment we're living in. He said that unless Americans get a grip on truth, lies, and conspiracy theories, will only work to impede a proper response to a public health challenge. Well, perhaps the National Director of what is it? National Director of Infectious and Allergy and whatever. National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. Maybe if the new director had maybe a more clear message, we'll get through that next time better. All right. Other things that are trending today. Executive privilege. Now, this is a fascinating, because they're talking about, well, you can probably guess why they're talking about executive privilege, because the raid on Mar-a-Lago is in the news again and constantly. And there's a big back and forth on whether or not Trump declassified some of the documents that he took there. And now Maggie Haberman's reporting that there's 300 classified documents that were found and blah, 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 blah. And I'm beginning to wonder, this is speculation on my part. So let's say that there were, and this is going to be a wait and see until someone actually does something. But let's say that this trove of documents, there are 300 classified documents or 300 classified pages, right? That may or may not have been declassified by Trump when he brought him to Mar-a-Lago or whatever. He's the president of the United States. He had clearance to have the documents. Maybe they were poorly secured or whatever, right? And since he did much of his business at Mar-a-Lago, there might have been a reason they're there. I don't know. And I'm exceedingly not caring unless there was a danger to national security. But I'm guessing that these classified documents most likely are documents related to investigations into Mr. Trump himself. Let me clarify what I'm saying here. I'm guessing that if he has because some of the documents were related to the FBI, NHS or DHS, Department of Homeland Security. I'm guessing that some of these documents may very well have been related to some of these investigations that have been going into to Trump, about Trump, that the FBI failed with during the Mueller investigation. And so there's this interesting back and forth going. They keep saying, "Oh, he had all these documents." Well, he declassified the documents. He had a standing order to declassify the documents. I don't know, and I'm still, because I don't know, and I don't trust anyone reporting on this, pro or anti-Trump, because I don't know and they don't know. And the fact that the FBI and many of the alphabet agencies, the alphabet intelligence agencies, have all these, let's just say an anti-Trump bias, And they had them prior to Trump taking office. Remember? Smarmy prick Chuck Schumer. The FBI has 7 ways to Sundays to get back at you. You don't want to cross the FBI. I'm just saying, I'm curious. I really want to know what they are. And I hope they are declassified and find out what he had at Mar-a-Lago. Because remember, it's not like he personally went and picked up these documents. He went down to the FBI file case, and he went down to, the file case in the White House archives and started thumbing through some documents and started reading them all and saying, oh, I'm going to take this one. I'm going to take this one. He's not like, he didn't do spy versus spy on himself and pull up specific boxes of documents, right? There's archives and people who pack things for him that put these documents in boxes, and they brought them to Mar-a-Lago. And I almost feel like maybe there was some sort of strategy for a lawsuit in the future, or just covering his ass on some things. And the FBI said, no, we don't want you to be able to cover your ass. We need to have all these documents back. Because there's no way that if this is just some National Archive shit, they would be making this big deal about it. So anyway, so executive privilege is trending on Twitter right now because something came up about that. So what's interesting is the GOP is trying to use the justice system to turn expired and irrelevant executive privilege into white supremacy. Let's fuck off with that shit. I get so tired of hearing the words white supremacy attached to fucking everything. Shut the fuck up. That's not the point here. Trump's bogus executive privilege claims are coming in a little too late from his crackpot legal team. The FBI has been poring over the evidence for 2 weeks while Trump searched for lawyers on Craigslist and Truth Social, desperate to find anybody who worked for no payment. Yeah, that's funny. Dershowitz, one thing is clearly wrong with the Biden White House. Shouldn't be able to waive the executive privilege to President Trump. That would mean that no president could speak to anyone in complete confidence. So what's happening is, well, here, let's see it. Here's Trump's statement, which is interesting. We have just filed a motion with the U.S. District Court of Southern District of Florida strongly asserting my rights, including under the Fourth Amendment of our Constitution, regarding the unnecessary and unwarranted and un-American break-in by dozens of FBI agents and others of my home, Mar-a-Lago and Palm Beach. They demanded that the security cameras be turned off, a request we rightfully denied. They prevented my attorneys from observing what was being taken from the raid, saying absolutely not. They took documents covered by attorney-client and executive privilege, which is not allowed. They took my passports. They even brought a safecracker and successfully broke into my personal safe. And that was from, I don't know what the date from that is. But, and then, these people clearly are all lawyers who opine on Twitter. Let's see. Oh, this is the Washington bureau chief of the Dallas News. So he's an expert. Trump complains that the FBI took documents covered by executive privilege. That's an acknowledgement that he possessed presidential records. And under the Presidential Records Act, all such records must go into National Archives on leaving office. There's no souvenir loophole. Guess what, though? What's the penalty for having these documents? There is none. It's fascinating. They're like, oh, he should be in prison because he took records that are supposed to be in the National Archives. Really? Let's cite the law, please. No one seems to be able to do that. But here's something interesting. Now, this is someone else who hates Trump. Executive privilege is saying, you can't pull back the curtain and peek into what I was discussing with my advisors. It's not. You can't use the property I stole, that you recovered as evidence in the stolen property case. You have to give it back. It's funny. Again, Trump did not personally pack up these documents. I can't remember the name of the part of the office. There's a name for it. It's something records management is the ones who packed up the boxes that were sent to Mar-a-Lago. That's funny. Alan Dershowitz makes an excellent point that executive privilege protects a president from having documents seized by a following president. Otherwise, a president would never commit any secrets to paper. Okay, that's a good point. Stephen Portner, NARA determined that special access program material was within the 15 boxes turned over by Trump last winter. That's more secret than TS or SCI. There was a back and forth on the question of protective executive privilege between Trump, NARA, and the Biden White House in the spring. Oh, here's the other part too, though. So remember how Joe Biden said he did not know about the raid on Mar-a-Lago? But one of the things that's going back in this conversation that I didn't really see it in any of these, but so Trump saying that there were some documents that were taken out of, during the raid, Mar-a-Lago, that were, basically executive privilege. So executive privilege is communication between he and his advisors, right? But someone related to this raid says that the so-called executive privilege was waived by President Biden. I don't know. All this screed about white supremacy makes me think that they see white people as superior, supreme, rather racist of them. Yeah. I sometimes wonder about that too. The penalty is death, but in a digital, can't they just make a photocopy and keep the original? Well, I don't know. That's what I'm curious too. Because remember, Hillary Clinton got in trouble for having, well, she did get in trouble for having digital copies of top secret and special access programming on her server in her basement. It wasn't about her emails. It was about the top secret information that she had in her possession. Here's someone else. Agent K. Who is Agent K? Is just someone says democracy matters. Thankful for Biden. Left-leaning centrist. Pro-choice. Okay, whatever. Yes, Donald Trump had absolutely no legal claim of executive privilege. He has no security clearance. That is false. Presidents of the United States do still have security clearance for life, unless it's revoked. It has to be revoked by somehow. The idea that he has no security clearance is ridiculous. It was not extended to him by President Biden. Doesn't have to be. He is a former president of the United States. And he has no authority to even request access to classified material. False. His possession of it is a clear violation. Trump treason. Oh, yes, hang him. Let's hang him up. Let's string him up right now. Holy shit. It should be no surprise. It should be a surprise to no one that Biden stripped Trump's executive privilege retroactively. This is all political. It goes to show how desperate they are to keep this man away from the White House. Give him hell, President Trump. That's a Trump supporter, obviously. Trump has as much executive privilege as I do because he's a fucking citizen, not president. Well, Kate, his communications between him and his advisors during the time that he was president of the United States is privileged to the president of the United States, which he was. And he did have that executive privilege. So that's what the point is. They're saying that they took documents that were communications between the president and his advisors, and between the president and his attorneys. They took attorney-client privilege information that was in those boxes also. So people keep arguing Trump does not have executive privilege. That belongs to President Biden. Dipshit, you need to pay attention. Trump does not have clearance for any of the classified documents he stole. False. Presidents of the United States retain their security clearances. The documents belong to the government and NARA and were never his to keep. That's questionable. We don't know what he has, so we can't tell if that's. So this is simplified for the cultists. Well, what you did is you made a damn fool of yourself by stating this. So shut the hell up. All right, I'm done, but anyway, there's lots of stuff about executive privilege, and people are arguing back and forth, and the people who hate Trump say he's a fuckface, and the people who love Trump says he's the most best thing since sliced bread, and I am going to withhold judgment until actually something actually happens with all this shit, so we'll find out later. I feel it's like it's going to go to the Supreme Court, though. I got to tell you. Good morning, L.A. Prepper. How you doing? Aaron Meredith, what's up? Eddie Haskell, good morning to you, sir. And if I've missed anybody, I apologize. I'm just going to keep plugging along here. All right, let's see what else I got. I was going to make this. Is there anything you guys want me to talk about? Because I'm just saying, I didn't really prep today. I just saw some things and I opened up some windows and hoped that it would work out. Liz Cheney, did speak up about Mar-a-Lago. How long ago? What's this from? What day? This Gunfox gave me this one. It's a news break. Liz Cheney says she's disgusted. The names of the Mar-a-Lago raid FBI agents were leaked and accused Republicans of a dangerous hypocrisy. Now, keep in mind, this is from Business Insider. Business Insider is a left-leaning publication. Liz Cheney condemned the leak of the names of FBI agents involved in the Mar-a-Lago raid. Conservative outlet Breitbart News first published the warrant without the names redacted. The FBI said it's received an increase in violence threats since the search. Oh, no! Wyoming. Infamous one. Wyoming representative. For a few more short months, Liz Cheney condemned the leaks of names of FBI agents who searched former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago home. Prominent Republicans, including Trump, spent the last 2 years admonishing the FBI after the agency searched 2 weeks, searched his Palm Beach, Florida residence on August 8th and seized government documents. The FBI said it had received an unprecedented number of threats following the search. During an interview that aired on ABC's This Week, Cheney said Republicans continued stoking the flames despite the growing threats. This is a really dangerous moment, and to see former President of the United States, my colleagues, stoking the flames of that instead of saying, we need to learn the facts, we need to learn the evidence, we need to learn the information about what happened, Cheney told ABC's co-anchor, Jonathan Karl. To jump reflexively to attack law enforcement and to say then, well, we back the blue, but we're going to attack these people for doing their job, she continued. I think the American people see that hypocrisy. That is what hypocrisy that is, and dangerous. It's dangerous hypocrisy. Okay, well, I don't care because you're not going to be in Congress much longer, so fuck off. That's just wrong. Did y'all hear Biden approved another $3.9 billion in federal student loan debt discharge? Oh, this is from a while ago when ITT Technical Institutes, apparently he forgave all the student loans for people who took out loans to go to ITT. U.S. Department of Education on Tuesday approved a group discharge of $3.9 billion in federal student loan debt for over 200,000 borrowers who claimed to be defrauded by a for-profit education chain. Any student who had taken a federal loan to attend the now defunct ITT Technical Institutes will now automatically have their debt wiped out, regardless of whether they are applying for a borrower defense discharge. The department said typical borrowers need to file a borrower defense claim against the college they believe has misled them in order to get some or all of the loan debt discharged. Tuesday's action will result in 208,000 former ITT students receiving $3.9 billion in full loan discharges, according to the department. Look. So ITT is defunct. And there are people who went to ITT who got degrees and are working and doing just fine in the world. But they're kind of these churning, they were kind of one of these churning for-profit places that, they get people in and they get their student loan money, and they really didn't care if they would finish. And so that's why they went down. And but it's interesting that, let's see, evidence shows for years ITT's leaders intentionally misled students about the quality of their programs in order to profit off federal student loan programs with no regard for the hardship this would cause, Cardona said. Cardona's predecessor, Betsy DeVos, took a different approach in handling borrowed defense claims. Instead of offering full discharges to alleged victims of for-profit college fraud, the Education Department under DeVos in 2019 created a formula that compares the income of graduates from the for-profit colleges to that of graduates from similar not-for-profit programs. For-profit graduates will get partial relief if their earnings are at a deficit. This method treats students fairly, ensures that taxpayers who did not go to college or who faithfully paid off their student loans do not shoulder the student loan cost for those who didn't suffer harm, DeVos said at the time. That makes sense. God, imagine the ones who are all like not all. Some ITT graduates probably are making pretty good money, especially at the time that school is, around. What people were learning there was they were tech people, right? Mostly hardware tech, but whatever. Which is probably pretty ludicrous. Not ludicrous. What's the word I'm thinking of? Not ludicrous. Holy shit! I can't think of the word. Not ludicrous. Oh my God. The question, wait, ITT was a fraud. Well, not necessarily. It wasn't a fraud. They did have lucrative. Thank you. My brain was not working. I was saying ludicrous. Lucrative. No, ITT. No, not at all. They had classes. They did the whole. Everything they said they were doing. The problem was they were they lured a lot of people in. A lot of people just didn't graduate from the programs, but they did people end up having be full of loans, right? They tried to do this in Atlanta with computer repair, special people only, and it lasted 6 months. Yeah, I don't know. They let's just say they took advantage of the federal student loan programs, just like most universities do, to a great degree, and they ended up going bankrupt anyway, and because the federal government came in and said, you don't have enough people graduating from this, but you're sure loading down people with a lot of loans, and so ITT went bye-bye. Anyway, so how far am I in here? Because my brain's not working. Do I have any other articles up here? No, I really don't. I mean, I could open a whole can of worms of articles, because I have my aggregator is definitely full today. Let's see. Let me see if I can do one more article to get out of here before we go. Report: documents show Biden White House involvement in Trump criminal probe. There we go. This is the one I was talking about. And then again, it's a Breitbart article. Breitbart's biased, but it's still, they have good reporting. Report: documents show Biden White House involvement in Trump criminal probe. Remember, they said they had no idea that there was going to be a raid. They had no idea whatsoever. Well, hello, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Yes, lucrative, not ludicrous. My brain did go, yeah, whatever. President Joe Biden's White House was intimately involved in the Department of Justice criminal probe into former President Donald Trump, according to government documents reviewed by Just the News. That would be Jonathan Solomon. Is that John Solomon? Yeah. Several correspondences between Trump's attorneys and members of the Biden administration revealed that the federal government appeared poised to waive Trump's claims of executive privilege over documents that Trump kept at Mar-a-Lago under until earlier this year. Wait, they said they had no idea this was going on. The memos showed then White House Deputy Counsel Jonathan Sue was engaged in conversations with the FBI, DOJ, and National Archives as early as April, shortly after 15 boxes of classified and other materials were voluntarily returned to the Federal Historical Agency from Trump's Florida home. By May, Sue conveyed that to the archives that President Joe Biden would not object to waiving his predecessor's claims of executive privilege, a decision that opened the door for DOJ to get a grand jury to issue a subpoena compelling Trump to turn over any remaining materials he possessed from his presidency. A May 10th letter from acting National Archivist Deborah Steitel Wall to Trump's legal team confirmed the White House's involvement in the DOJ probe against Trump. On April 11, 2022, the White House Counsel's office affirming a request from the Department of Justice supported by an FBI letterhead memorandum formally transmitted a request that NARA provide the FBI access to, that's the National Archives, access to the 15 boxes for its review within 7 days, with the possibility that the FBI might request copies of specific documents following its review of the boxes. Wall wrote, the letter contained. Okay, so anyway, the point is, remember the White House said, oh, they had no idea that there might be a raid. We don't know. We haven't been involved in that at all. Guess what? This is going to be a shocker to you all. This is going to be shocking to all of you. They lied. I'm just dumbfounded. I can't believe they lied. I can't believe it. I believe they just lied. I believe what they said was a lie. Couldn't tell the truth today. You can fuck off right away. That was the worst ever. I've never done a worse one. That was terrible. That was awful. Holy shit, that was bad. Let's see. I'm just looking at some of these headlines. New order in Mar-a-Lago raid case. Feds proved compelling interest in keeping warrant affidavits sealed, but court still requires proposed redactions. Sources, GSA packed boxes of documents Trump brought to Mar-a-Lago, not Trump political staffers. Oh! That's what I was telling you about. That's what I was trying to remember. It was the Government Services Administration. So it wasn't Trump who went out and picked what things he was going to put in those boxes. It wasn't his staff, but it was the Government Services Administration who packed boxes of documents Trump brought to Mar-a-Lago, not his political staffers. Sources close to the former President Donald Trump have confirmed to Breitbart News that the General Services Administration packed the boxes of documents he took with him to Mar-a-Lago, not political staffers. So, but here's the thing. He can say, okay, I want these, I want these, I want these, I want those. And the General Services Administration goes and packs them. But anyway, shortly after the FBI raided Mar-a-Lago this month, reportedly to reclaim documents Donald Trump had taken from the White House in January 2021, journalist David Martosco announced that a source close to the former president confirmed the documents were boxed by government staffers in the GSA, not Trump's own staffers. I heard that. You know what's funny? I heard that the same day that the raid happened. That they were packed by the Government Service Administration, and nobody said anything about it. Well, somebody said it because I read it somewhere, but still, that's kind of wild. Let's see. You know what? I'm not going to do anymore because it's almost time to go. Fauci resigns. Fauci leaving his post. Rand Paul. Fauci's resignation won't protect him from investigations. Here's one. Rand Paul. Fauci's resignation won't protect him from investigation. Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky weighed in Monday on news that Dr. Anthony Fauci would step down from his government roles in December, promising that Fauci will still testify before Congress. Fauci's resignation will not prevent a full-throated investigation into the origins of the pandemic, Paul said in a Monday morning tweet of Fauci with whom the senator had sparred during congressional hearings on multiple occasions. He will be asked to testify under oath regarding any discussions he participated in concerning the lab leak. Well, there you go. That's important. And that's good because he should still be held accountable for his bullshit. I'll leave that article open if you want to read any more about that. Anything else here interesting? WHO receives a request to classify monkeypox as a sexually transmitted infection. Good Lord. I'll leave an article open for that one too. Majority of Americans say the border crisis is an invasion, poll says. New York homeless shelters packed with 4,900 border crossers. Situation is dire. Oh, so sad. Actually, that's not good. I mean, you think maybe, just maybe, that someone will get a clue. Imagine, 4,900 in New York. Oh, goodness gracious. There are hundreds of thousands in Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona. But, oh, my God, 4,900 in New York City. Get a rope. No, I'm sorry. I was doing the Pace Picante commercial. New York City, get a rope. Texas has bused over 7,000 migrants to our nation's capital since April. Good gracious. That's a lot. UN diplomat dodges New York City. What? Oh. Apparently, there's a diplomat who got arrested for an assault on a woman, and he dodges the rap thanks to diplomatic immunity. Just send his ass home then. That's all you can do. That's the law. Oh my God. Editor for New Yorker advertises his white savior complex. I'm not going to read that one. New York defies Supreme Court with unconstitutional gun permit law. Oh, here we go. Here we go. They are going to, it's going to be back to, it's going to go back to the court multiple times. All right, gang. You know what? I'm going to finish there. I need to take some time between now and my noontime gig, so I need to really be done. But hey, I want to thank you guys for joining me today. If you haven't, do me a favor. If you haven't hit the like button, do it right now. It's just because I know you do. I know you like it, and we're gonna just pretend that if you don't like me, just hit the like button anyway. I'm just gonna go that way. And every day I ask the same question, or I say the same thing at the end. Hit the like button, share the stream, put a comment in the comment section, and you can sponsor the show at pdognight.live and the other stuff that you do. But I just want to take a second to thank everybody. A lot of you here today are here almost every day, or you're here a lot. You're here, when you can get here, and the names I see over and over. And I really appreciate the fact that you come and see me on a regular basis. And I enjoy doing this so much. The channel hasn't grown nearly as much as I would have liked it to, but the satisfaction I get just from hanging out with some of you and getting to know some of you via the chat and certain things, it really makes my day. And I hope that sometimes I'm able to make your day. And someday, who knows, I'll run into some of you. In fact, the Aussies, Lady Boomer and I are trying to determine what our next big adventure is. And it's like, we might try to go to Australia sometime in the next 10 years. So that may be my next project. Who knows? I might have to make more money to do that. But especially since both of us had to take a couple of weeks off of work these last couple of weeks. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I cannot thank you enough. Do all the stuff that I usually say. Sponsor the show at pdognight.live if you can. If you can't, just keep coming here and doing the things you do, hitting the like button and sharing and all that stuff. I do got to go. I hope you all have a great, what's today? Tuesday? Have a great Tuesday. My name's Dawg Knight, and I am out of here. Bye. Bye.
Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.